Hello, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're doing well. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot. This is your tarot card for the week of December 14th, 2025. Keep in mind that this is a collective general reading, not individualized, not personalized to you, personalized to you. Therefore, messages may come through today that do not fully resonate. And if that happens, don't get upset. It just means that one message is meant for someone else watching. So take what fits, how it fits, leave what doesn't. Be sure to check out your other placements. And also keep in mind that this is not what you don't see coming for the week ahead. Tarot card of the week reading is intended to help us move our lives forward. So just take the messages how they resonate to you. And if you want to learn how you can become a time traveler, please check out the description box below. With all of that said, let's begin. Tapping into the Capricorn collective now for Capricorn Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is the tarot card of the week here for Capricorn? One more shuffle here. Thank you. I'm having a deja vu moment. Like I feel like I just did this reading for you, but I didn't. I did the Sagittarius reading, but I feel like I already did this for you. So maybe some of you are feeling that way now, like you are experiencing something that is oddly familiar. Either you experienced it before with that entity, or it's reminiscent of something you experienced with another entity. I don't know why someone needed to hear that. Tarot card of the week, Five of Wands. What needs to be addressed in this conflict that has arisen? Well, there's that deja vu. Maybe there's a conflict here that keeps happening, either with the same entity or a different entity, but same conflict. Let's see where we go with this message. Bottom of the deck, Ten of Wands. What has become overwhelming in your life? Maybe we're not addressing something here, and it keeps resurfacing as the same conflict. What needs to be addressed in this conflict that has arisen? Maybe we're contributing to this conflict. We don't realize it. I say we. I'm not a Capricorn. I just don't want you to think I'm sitting here like shaming you or blaming you. Tell me why the Five of Wands is the tarot card of the week for Capricorn. I just noticed that last card was coming with me. Something maybe we're taking from connection to connection that contributes to conflict later on in the connection. All right, tell me more about this here for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. Why is the Five of Wands the tarot card of the week? What needs to be addressed in this connection that has arisen? One more shuffle. Thank you. Queen of Pentacles, there you are. Ace of Wands, the Magician, and the Eight of Swords. Something we're not seeing. What is that? Knight of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. It's a lot of pentacle energy. Eight of Pentacles, Three of Cups, Five of Swords, King of Swords. What is this? Oh, and the Eight of Pentacles just landed upside down over the Knight of Pentacles. My stepdad once said something to me that reminds me of this. Failure to plan is planning to fail. Failing to plan is planning to fail. The Eight of Pentacles is in the reverse, underneath the Knight of Pentacles, which is all about planning. That's Virgo energy. So we're planning, we're failing to plan. That's why the plan keeps failing. All right, let's see where we go with this message. Queen of Pentacles. Tell me why the Queen of Pentacles is here. This is obviously your energy, whether you're masculine or feminine. Tell me about the Queen of Pentacles here. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Queen of Pentacles, clarified by Six of Cups, Eight of Cups, and the Hierophant. Bottom of the deck, Knight of Swords. There's something we're doing where we stay in these Six of Cup connections, what we presume to be soulmate, soul bond connections. And then at some point, we're triggered to walk away. Something shifts within us. Something clicks within the Capricorn collective and says, I'm out. This goes against my principles, my morals. But we tolerate it. Oh, is that what's happening? There's something here. I'm going to go deeper on this message. There's something here we're tolerating maybe when it comes to Six of Cup connections. We don't say much. Sometimes there's a little rumble. We suppress, we suppress, we suppress. And then we're like, you know what? Fuck it. This does not align. Sorry, I cursed. This does not align with who I am, what I want. I'm not on the same page. This person's not agreeing with me, or they're not seeing, you know, my side of this. I'm out. And then there's rage. Then there's rage. Knight of Swords, Seven of Swords, Three of Pentacles. Then there's rage. There's rage because of a lack of cooperation with the other entity. So then we become verbally expressive in a negative way. So what needs to be addressed in this conflict that has arisen? Tell me about this Ace of Wands. Tell me about the Ace of Wands here. Oh, I just heard a big smash outside. I don't know if and my windows are closed. I don't know if the mic picked that up. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Ace of Wands is clarified by the Six of Pentacles, the Star, and the Strength card. Bottom of the deck, the Emperor. Let me clarify a little bit more. Magician energy here. It's the way we give. It either is in respect to how we give or in respect to how we receive. Very quiet. Quiet, quiet, quiet. Okay. Tell me more about the Magician. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Magician, clarified by Temperance, more silence. Three of Pentacles, the Hangman, more silence. The Capricorn Collective, don't be offended by this, right? These messages are all intended to help us grow. The Capricorn Collective is not, it is tolerating, I'm going to put this as bluntly as I can. The Capricorn Collective is tolerating a lot of bullshit from people that they consider to be their Six of Cups. Their soul bond or soulmate connections. They tolerate a lot of shit until it gets to a point where they feel that the other entity is no longer on the same page and they emotionally check out. And if they're pressed, they'll get verbally aggressive. Knight of Swords to the Seven of Swords. It's like I've had all that I can stand and I can't stand no more, Alice. That's the feeling. Eight of Swords. It's almost like we are complicit in creating the Five of Swords, that verbal argument, the Three of Swords, and like breaking our own heart or breaking the connection. We're complicit in this. Again, I say we because I don't want you to think that I'm, you know, blaming you. Tell me about the Eight of Swords here. One more shuffle. Thank you. Eight of Swords, clarified by the High Priestess, more silence. The Two of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords. And then here comes the worry. So I suppress, I suppress, I suppress. I take all this crap from my sibling. I take all this crap from my parents. I take all this crap from my lover, from my children, you know, my boss. I don't want to make any waves, right? Everything's got to go smoothly in Capricorn world. Not making fun of you, just telling you the energy I'm picking up. And then it gets to a point, you know, you ever sit around like at dinner or you're eating, holiday time, whatever, and the food is so good and you just keep eating it and just shoveling it down, shoveling it down. This is like what you do when you're in connections and people are literally throwing bullshit your way. You're non-reactive at first. You're shoveling it down. You're shoveling it down. And then, just like at the dinner table, when you overeat, you get to a point where you can't overeat anymore. You just, you know, you're like, enough. Like, I'm at a point where I can't breathe. This is what this is the feeling that I'm getting here. So notice that we don't have any swords. The only sword that we have here is the sword that the Magician is holding, but that's suspended. So I'm not communicating this to anyone. I'm all up in my head about it, speaking like you, with the Eight of Swords to the Nine of Swords. Well, this is all working in the background within me, subconsciously. I'm still trying to show up. I'm still trying to be strong. I'm still trying to persevere. I'm still trying to be balanced. I'm still cooperating. Meanwhile, I'm not communicating how hurt I was or betrayed I felt or pissed off I was when this person did A, B, C. And if you're getting hit from a lot of different ways, someone at work slights you, you say good morning to the neighbor, they don't reciprocate, your partner comes home from work and they're giving you shit, you know, you're on the phone with your sister and she's saying stuff, and you suppress all of that, yeah, there's gonna be a point where you're literally gonna turn into a volcano and you're gonna be like, fucking enough already. And then everyone looks at you like, oh my God, Capricorn is so unstable. Oh my God, where did that come from? they're always so quiet. And did you see how they turn? Like, are they bipolar or something? Like, what is wrong with them? It's like, no, I've been eating shit for years, for years with you or all these people. And it's like, how much more can I take? So I feel we're starting to see the problem now. What needs to be addressed in this conflict, this isn't even so much about resolving the issue with the other person, because these readings are all intended to help us, you know, repair something within ourselves. Doesn't mean we're broken, but it's for spiritual growth, right? We can become a better version of ourselves. So to heal or to heal a pattern, and then next time we can show up as a better version of ourselves. So don't be offended by this reading. And this isn't about you fixing something with that other entity or maybe all those people. Maybe some of you just had a big argument with your family. Maybe it was over Thanksgiving if you're in the United States. Regardless, there's something here of it's within you. What needs to be fixed within you, again, please don't take that offensively. I don't mean like you're broken, but what the pattern that needs to be repaired is the pattern of suppression. Otherwise, you end up with the, why did they do this? Why did they say it? And you're up all night, and there's anxiety, and there's sleepless nights, and you could sleep 10 hours, and the next day you're still tired as all hell because you didn't get a good night's sleep. Because subconsciously, this is working in the background. Why did they do this? Why did they say this? Why aren't they calling? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. What do they mean by that? What do they mean by this? But look at the suppression. Suppression, 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 suppression. And in the meantime, I'm just going to keep showing. I'm going to keep showing up. I'm just going to keep shoveling it down. Knight of Wands. As we move forward, there's a need for us to look back. The Knight of Wands is looking back. There's a need to look back. Whether you want to connect with that person or these people, like I said, inconsequential. There's a need to look back and say, oh, no. Yeah, I see that pattern within myself. I don't want to repeat this moving forward. Knight of Wands. Tell me about the Knight of Wands here. I don't want to be reckless again. I don't want to be reckless again. This would be reckless to you. Screw the connections. No offense to the people in your life, but this would be reckless to you. This would injure your stability if you continue to do this to yourself. Now, you have the, God-given gift of free will. You don't have to recognize this pattern. You could click off of the video. You could smite me all day long until you go to bed tonight. You could give me the middle finger, to your monitor. It's okay. But for those of you that are interested in healing this pattern, I think it's critical that you heal it, because the suppression is doing nothing but injuring, or it's either injuring your stability or it's threatening your stability. Because let's face it, when we get to the point where we suppress and we become a verbal volcano, yeah, that rocks our stability. We could lose hours or days of our time. We're upset, we're stressed, we're angry. Now we're not tending to our responsibility. We're not thinking clearly behind the wheel of a car. We're not thinking clearly when we're preparing dinner. You know what I mean? Because now it occupies our mind. 8 of Swords to the 9 of Swords. So you can heal this. You don't have to. I think we should. Tell me about that Knight of Wands. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Knight of Wands, King of Swords. That is Master Communicator of Tarot. There's something here about healing this wound. Who else had something similar? One of the other zodiac signs had something similar. Who did I read for today? Did I do Libra today? I did Scorpio and Sag. Maybe it was Scorpio. Scorpio's reading also had a communication wound. So if you have high Scorpio placements, maybe you want to take a look at that reading also. Although theirs was a little bit different. They weren't asking the right questions or something like that, or conveying what they wanted. Yours just seems to be suppression. So it's a communication wound here that you can heal if you choose to. King of Swords, 3 of Cups, and the Sun. Yeah, you can definitely heal this when it comes to all the connections in your life, right? All of the 3 of Cups in your life. And the Sun is the most healing card in tarot. It's more healing than the actual star card itself. So there is a communication wound. If we're honest and we look back at all of our connections, and again, not saying that you're to blame for all of the 5 of Wands, 5 of Swords, 10 of Wands, 10 of Swords that you endured, but you were a contributory factor because you suppressed so much while you were in them. So I think your wound here is learning how to speak up. And I think this came out in your reading about a month ago. And I think your reading for December was something like you're being pushed to your limit. Yeah, you're being pushed to your limit, because how much food can someone shovel down? Five of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, until it turns into an argument again. Excuse me. Okay. Let's get, I want to get 3 cards for you. How can you begin to heal this wound? How can you begin to heal this wound? I know that it's saying that you can heal it, and you certainly can become the King of Swords moving forward. So I don't know if I've explained it in any of the Capricorn, I don't know if I explained it in any of the Capricorn readings that I've done, but I typically look at the Queens in Tarot. Nothing to do with gender. It's just the energy of the cards. I look at Queens as I exist in the present because of what I've gone through in the past. And all 4 Queens show up differently in the present because of what they've gone through. And their past is all of the ups and downs of their respective card suits. The Kings I look at, again, it's not a masculine versus feminine thing, but they are the top tier of their suits. I feel like they're future focused. They take the knowledge of the Queen, which the Queen has accrued from her entire swords or her entire suit, whatever that is, sword, wands, etc., and the Kings now take action. Now they know how to show up in the future. So there's something here about you kind of being in the role of the Queen of Swords right now, or at least that's what you need to take on. And the Queen of Swords says, let me look at all of that. My whole suit, 3 of Swords, 5 of Swords, very unpleasant suit, right, in cards. 7 of Swords, 8, 9, 10 of Swords. Some of those cards are here on the table. What did I learn from all of those experiences? How did I contribute to those experiences? Now moving forward, I'm going to communicate differently because I don't ever want to feel that again, right? I don't want to contribute to that again. This is almost like I've learned my lesson. That suppression, it's almost like the Capricorn collective at some point in time, and I don't know when each of you, specifically learned it, but it was almost like you learned that silence was the right way to go. Like, don't rock the boat, Cappy. No one wants to hear your opinion, Cappy. We know better than you, Cappy. Somewhere along the way, the Capricorn collective was taught to be silent, to not really express emotions or needs, to take on the burden of their respective families or their friend groups or, whomever they're in connection with. And on one hand, I think it was good because it gave you broad shoulders, right? I look at Capricorn, when I see the Devil card in Tarot, that's fierce, right? Whether you want to put a positive or negative spin to the Devil. And that Saturn in Capricorn, that's bold, right? Saturn's a fucking bold planet. It's a bold planet. And the Devil is a bold card. And I feel like, and on one hand, it was good, like whatever you went through, because it gave you broad shoulders. But at the same time, I don't know, it's a negative because you're not saying what it is that you need to say in the moment you need to say it. And then, you become the negative aspect of the Devil card, which is people look at you then and you're like, well, you're toxic. But you're not toxic. You're just suppressing. Somewhere along the way, you learn that suppression and silence meant, keeping the peace. And it doesn't keep the peace. There's no peace within you when you do that. How can Capricorn start to heal this? 2 of Wands. You're at a Y point. I think the first part here is just admitting that this is an issue, right? That's the first step to recovery. The 4 of Cups, looking at those, I want to say failed connections, but the hardships in those connections. And the Page of Cups, bottom of the deck, 8 of Pentacles. No freaking swords for you. So I think your first step here is to look at these connections. Maybe for some of you going back to childhood. Page of Cups. What were you taught about speaking up, speaking out, defending yourself? Disagreeing when you felt like disagreeing. That's step 1. 8 of Pentacles. Like, this is something we can start working on. So first is making the choice of saying, yeah, I recognize this pattern. 4 of Cups is now, let me look at all of these different connections in my life that I exhibited those traits. Where did that originate from? Page of Cups. What was the beginning of that? Where did it originate? It could have been in your 30s, your 20s. Maybe it was when you were 5 years old. Different for all of you. But what will help you here is to figure out how it originated. Okay, what's next? 3 cards for what's next after that. One more shuffle. Thank you. What's next? 2 of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, and the Devil. There you are. once, Eight of Pentacles again at the bottom of the deck. Once you see it, you're not going to be able to unsee it. Once you're like, oh my God, I recall that day. I recall that moment when I felt this way and I wanted to say something and I was silenced. You're gonna remember it. It's gonna be crystal clear to you. This is the moon in Libra. It's gonna be crystal clear to you. That moment that was unfair and that you felt, I can't do anything. I can't. And that was the moment where you learned to suppress. That's all you have to figure out. That's all you have to do this week is acknowledge, think back to your connections. Where did this originate from? Go as far back in your memory as you can. Once you see it, you're not going to be able to unsee it. You will have like unlocked a new level here in the Capricorn collective. You'll be like, I remember that moment I was going to say something to blank about how I was feeling, and a look they gave or something they said silenced me. That's my first recollection of being completely silenced. And for some of you, fear played a factor. Like once you were silenced, you were like, oh, I can't say anything now. Mom will be mad. Dad will be mad. You know what I mean? The spouse will get upset. Oh, if I say anything right now, the boss will fire me. You're going to have to go back to that first moment. Don't rack your brain too much. You've done enough. Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords. The moment you realize that was not fair, that's it. You're gonna unlock it. It's like you're unlocking the code here. You'll figure out when it happened. All right, let's get you 3 cards of additional advice here. So that's your homework assignment for this week. It's a biggie. I'm not going to lie, it's a biggie. But I think you need to figure out the origin of where this started. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Further advice for you. 5 of Cups, the Moon, and Judgment. Bottom of the deck, the Empress. I think once you can identify where it started, you're going to be able to better regulate your emotions moving forward. You'll be able to nurture the connections in your life differently, because I don't think you're going to over-nurture anymore once you see it. It's not that the way you've been loving people is wrong. It's that you have allowed people to use the love you have for them incorrectly or against you. Somehow, Capricorn, you have fallen victim. Oh, that's tough. You've fallen victim to the belief that if I love someone, I can't question them. If I love someone, I can't disagree with them. If I love someone, I got to tolerate what they do. If I love someone, I got to push it down, push it down, push it down. I think you'll find yourself being a lot more emotionally regulated. This week, just figure out what the origin is. But yeah, you will be nurturing connections differently moving forward. Empress, 7 of Wands, and the Tower. And some people are not going to like the new you, and that's okay. Those were the lessons in your life. They don't need to be part of your future. When you start laying down these boundaries and start nurturing differently, yeah, it's going to cause a tower moment for people because they're not used to you speaking up. I think it's time for the world to get used to Capricorn speaking up. I think you've sat silent for too long. That is what I have for you, Capricorn. That is another deep message. That's like 3 or 4 in a row now. I don't know what's happening to this other half of the zodiacal wheel here, but the readings are becoming more and more intense. Maybe for you, it's because we're nearing your season. Sagittarius was intense, maybe because we're in their season. So that might have something to do with it astrologically. But anyway, that is what I have for you, my dear. That is your tarot card for the week of December 14th. 2025. If you like that message, resonates with you, you want to claim all or part of it, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that. And don't forget to check out the description box so you can learn how you too can become a time traveler. Until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace.